Guys, it's your boy NHXPRESS back with another banger, and today I just wanted to bring you guys this video and review the trades we ended up taking this past week. We ended up accumulating a total of 15 RR, which is a massive move for us, so let's get into it. Alright, so first we want to start off on Euro AUD. This was a counter trend trade setup. As you guys can see, we have lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, a very big lower low, lower high, lower low, and as you guys can see, this seems like a perfect type of setup for a now bullish move to the upside. As you guys can see, there was this massive wick, so obviously now we're starting to move bullish, and we're gonna have for the past couple weeks we've had in this area just a consolidation of price. We did end up calling out the trade that we were going to review last week Sunday in our analysis video. So as we go down to the daily time frame, we see we do have a bearish push to the downside. We're just having lower lows, lower highs, and then we ended up closing above, and then we ended up just entering a trade on the retest. As we see on the 4 hour as well, we do have somewhat of a left head, right shoulder, and then we kind of just entered in on the pullback of that right shoulder. So as we jump down to the 30-minute time frame where we ended up taking our entry, we do enter our entry pattern is a morning star formation. So as you guys can see here at about 7 o'clock we entered. We could have entered at 6:30, but the spread was still a little bit too high for my liking, so I ended up waiting just for that extra confirmation, and we entered at 7 o'clock. On this position, we ended up actually closing at about a 1 to 10, which was so far one of my biggest moves. Yes, was I being a little bit too greedy? Possibly, having this tight of a stop loss, but looking back, we ended up capitalizing on this trade. As we move on, we have to this coming week. I suspect it's going to have another push, and it's going to keep going up. As you guys see here on the daily, we ended up having a pullback, and then it tried pushing back to the upside and ended up closing. And so it might have that second push again, this coming week, but we'll just have to wait and see. As we have USD CHF, we ended up also entering on this one. This is a pro trend setup. As you guys can see, we are creating lower lows and lower highs. We did close above, as you guys can see here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, but we ended up closing above, and we were just catching a quick break and retest. So as you guys see here on the daily, same thing. We ended up having lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then here's that break. So now we're bullish, now we're bearish, now we're bullish again, and we ended up just entering in on our area of interest for a nice little 2.2. So as you guys can see, we had that push, retest. We could have entered around 4 o'clock, but spread was a little bit too high for my liking, so we ended up entering around on the 30-minute time frame, closer to about 1:30. So in pre-London session, we ended up entering in. We had a nice consolidation, and then we ended up having that push to the upside, broke above, and then we just entered in on our usual pattern, on that morning star formation. As I said, we ended up capitalizing on a nice 2.2 risk to reward. With this, it's possible that it's going to keep continuing having that move to the upside, but it's hard to say. I think it's going to have a push to the downside, but just based off of what's happening here, there might be price might just have something like this, retest, and just keep continuing to the downside, because it is technically still bearish on the weekly. But we just also have to follow what the daily and the 4 hour are doing as well to capitalize on that. On USD CAD, we ended up closing this position at a 2.5. right before market closed. But this was a nice pro trend setup as well. So we ended up having lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then we ended up having that shift of structure, and we just had a pullback, retest of this area of interest, and then we had a entry on the lower time frame. So if we go down on the daily, we do have, you guys can see, we were having lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We ended up breaking above, and we just entered on this retest. So it's pretty simple, and you guys know what our entry is. We do enter on either bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, or Morningstar pattern. So we ended up just entering on this bullish engulfing right here at about 6 o'clock. There was a possible secondary entry if you guys did want to enter in, and that was right here at around 8 o'clock on Wednesday the 20th. You guys could have had a secondary entry, but we ended up getting in on Tuesday about 6. So far, that was, just about 15 hours, probably what, 14.7, which isn't bad at all. I'm not going to complain. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you guys have any comments or questions for me, just please let me know in the description or in the comment section down below. I should be having the analysis video for you guys for this coming week, sometime tomorrow at around maybe 4 or 5 EST, right before market opens. So hopefully we have a good week again, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.